Really the way life in America is supposed to work? I don't think so. Comey was asked about leaking classified information on CNN.
Senator Grassley, the chairman of the Judiciary Committee, says that there are 7 memos. He says 4 of them are classified. Is that right?
I don't know, because I don't have the memos. I don't know exactly how many there are. Some may be memos, some may be emails. There's somewhere between 5 and 10. It may be 7, it may be 8. I don't remember.
Doesn't remember, doesn't know. Here to react, counselor to the president, Kellyanne Conway. My favorite part of the Comey memo, Kellyanne, was when he claims he's not a leaker. Listen to this. He says, I explained that he could count on me to always tell the truth. I said, I don't do sneaky things. I don't leak. I don't do weasel moves. And then months later, he leaks and does a weasel move.
He does. And if you're going to have the word lies in the title of your book, make sure you're not someone who tells them. And if you're going to have the word leadership in your book, make sure that you've ever displayed a modicum of leadership. The #1 and the #2 at the FBI, Jim Comey and Andrew McCabe, are both known leakers, admitted leakers. Andrew McCabe, just this week, Jesse, he is now being referred for criminal charges because of the leaking
lies.
And the lying.
Lies.
4 lies and at least 3 under oath. Also, this week, McCabe's attorney went after Jim Comey for saying that Jim Comey pretending that he didn't know Andrew McCabe was leaking to the media. Now, let's review. This is a president who came to Washington and promised to be a disruptor and be more transparent and accountable. But he's running into buzzsaws beginning at the very tippy top of the FBI, where you've got the #1 and #2 leaking, lying, exchanging leaks. Jim Comey, who takes all these fastidious notes in the vehicle when he exits meetings with President-elect and President Donald Trump, can't remember when he's asked by Jake Tapper, not even under oath, he's asked by what he thinks is going to be a friendly media source, media person. He's asked how many, I don't remember.
And you know what? He never even took any memos when he spoke to President Obama, Loretta Lynch, or
he did.
Eric
Speaking
Holder.
of Loretta Lynch, Jesse, please, because nobody has said it the whole week, can we break news on your TV show?
Sure.
You've got to go read the Comey memos, which are much better than the Comey book, but if you must read both. Jim Comey has some kind of weird problem with powerful African-American women. He goes after Condoleezza Rice and he goes after Loretta Lynch. In fact,
he took a shot at Loretta Lynch, said Eric Holder was much smoother, more sophisticated. Yeah.
It's
not like he's making enemies everywhere. McCabe, Loretta Lynch, the Democrats hate him, the Republicans hate him. Let me get to another part of the memo that I found interesting here. He says, he said that if there were some satellite, he means President Trump, note, I took this to mean some associates of his or his campaign that did something, meaning collude, it would be good to find out, but that he hasn't done anything. And I hoped we would find a way to get out that we weren't investigating. So the memo proves that President Trump wasn't obstructing, was telling the FBI director, go look and investigate if there was any collusion of me or any of my people.
It is the exact opposite of obstruction, which is to say, hey, I'd like to know too. I don't think so, but go ahead and find out. And you know what? They've been going ahead and finding out for over a year. And to
almost 2 years now, Kellyanne.
Almost 2 years. That's a good point. Almost 2 years. But let's also review that this is a man who thought somebody else would win the election, definitely wanted her to win the election, said, I could not cast a vote. I need the FBI to be independent. So you couldn't cast a vote in the privacy of the ballot box or through the mailbox?
Such a political animal.
He didn't vote because he didn't think Hillary Clinton needed his help. He actually thought she was ever going to win.
He had his finger in the wind. And someone said this, I think it was Byron York who made a great point. So the first meeting you have with the president-elect, and you're the FBI director, and you hand him a paper saying that there's some shady stuff that Russia has on you, why do you think President Trump was saying, you know what, loyalty is pretty important, probably because President Trump thought he might be being blackmailed by the FBI director? I mean, that's what I would have thought if the first meeting the guy comes to me and says, we have all this dirt on you, allegedly, from the Russians. I would have been a little suspicious. He was probably just trying to get a read on the guy.
It's a very spooky situation, actually, if you go back and think about it. This is an FBI director who didn't bother to go meet the president-elect until 2 full months after the election. And he ambled his way up to New York finally, 14 days before the inauguration. and laid this bomb at the feet of the president-elect after everybody else left the room, but made clear to the president then, when he made clear to many other times before, but failed to disclose publicly, which is that the president himself was not under investigation. He refused to say that publicly.
He told him at least 3 times,
but wouldn't say it publicly. This person, this Comey guy who had no problem leaking information to the New York Times, asking McCabe to do it to the Wall Street Journal, at least doing it with his knowledge, and then leaking it with an eye toward and a hope to triggering a special counsel, which is what happened. Why not just tell the public that the FBI director has told the president-elect that he's not under investigation?
Well, that's a great point, because we have it right here. Because, again, President Trump asking the FBI director, tell me what you said before. I'm not under investigation. Say that to the general public. He says, I returned the president's call this morning. We spoke about 4 minutes. He said he was following up to see if I did what he'd asked last time, getting out that he was personally not under investigation. I replied that I had passed the request to the acting AG and had not heard back from him. So why is Shady James Comey, love the new nickname, by the way, why is he slow walking the effort to make the public aware that the President of the United States is not under investigation? Why would he do that?
Well, he doesn't have a good answer for that himself. If I had to guess, because the wrong person won the election and he was taking all types of incoming from his friends in the Democratic Party, the people who had been investigating Hillary Clinton at the highest levels of the FBI, who we know through their texting now, Jesse, didn't like the President Trump very much, had it in for him. They've since been reassigned. Peter Orr and his wife, Andrew McCabe and his wife. I mean, it's all a big toxic brew with Jim Comey at the top not acting like a leader. More to the point, this is somebody who went on a book tour, who is absolutely a witness in the Mueller investigation, and himself admitted that he most likely will be a witness in the McCabe criminal investigation now. And he's out there breaking protocol with the FBI and the DOJ yet again by diverting the spotlight onto himself. One thing happened to Jim Comey, though, this week, whether it's a New York Times podcast on Friday or Jake Tapper on Thursday, he thought he'd get a hero's welcome among the mainstream media.
No.
And some of them have not been tough on him at all, but some have been really probing and scrutinizing the veracity of his claims. It's been really tough for him.
That's right. And Kellyanne, I have a whole list of things that he violated in terms of protocol and statute, so he could be looking at some serious consequences. Thank you very much, Kellyanne.
Thank you, Jesse.